AI writing tools. They're everywhere you look these days. But are they really the game changers people claim them to be? That's what we're diving into today. We're taking a look at Tim Hansen's piece on the best AI writing software and tools.
Yeah, it's a fast-moving field for sure. At the core, you've got these language models like what powers ChatGPT, using huge data sets to predict and generate human-like text. But like any new tech, the real question is how are people actually using these tools?
And to help us cut through all the noise, we're approaching this from the perspective of someone who not only uses these tools, but actually built one content expert, Tim Hansen.
That's what I find so fascinating, how his own experience as a user really shaped how he built a tool that directly tackles a common pain point for writers using AI.
You're talking about that dreaded prompt engineering thing, right?
Right.
Hansen talks about how frustrating it is that a lot of these AI writing tools practically force you to become a programmer,
Yeah.
spending hours trying to come up with the perfect instructions instead of actually, writing.
Exactly. Prompt engineering, that's the art of crafting those instructions in a way that gets the AI to give you what you want. It's like, think of it like giving directions.
Yeah.
If you give a vague prompt, it's like just saying, go north. A good prompt is more like handing someone a detailed map with landmarks.
Okay, that makes sense. So how does Hansen's tool penfriend.ai tackle this?
So it's all about streamlining the process, especially for creating blog posts. Think of it like this. Penfriend is like a specialist. It takes
Yeah.
care of all the complex prompting in the background so you don't have to.
And we're not just talking about a couple of prompts, right? Hansen mentions Penfriend uses over 60 prompts for every article.
60, yeah. That's a big deal because it shows just how much complexity is being hidden from the user so they can actually focus on the writing. It's like having a whole team of expert prompt engineers working behind the scenes. And on top of that, it has this manual checks feature, again, really emphasizing quality over just churning out content.
As someone who's played around with AI writing tools, I can tell you that's a huge relief.
Yeah.
There's nothing more frustrating than getting a jumbled mess that you then have to spend hours fixing.
It goes back to that idea of specialized tools,
Right.
right? You wouldn't use a screwdriver to hammer in a nail. Using a tool that's specifically designed for blog posts can make a huge difference, both in the quality of what you're getting and how efficient you are.
So Penfriend is great if you're focused on blog posts.
Mhm.
But what about other types of writing? What's out there for people who need something a little more versatile?
Hansen actually gets into that too. He talks about a bunch of other AI writing tools in the article. Some of them, like Jasper and copy.ai, they're kind of like the Swiss Army knives of the AI writing world. They can handle all sorts of stuff, from social media posts to long-form articles, you name it.
But like we were talking about earlier, be ready to put in some serious time learning how to use those prompts effectively.
Yeah, for sure. Tools like Jasper and copy.ai, they're incredibly powerful and flexible, but they do require a certain level of, engagement and learning. Not everyone has the time or the patience for that.
And speaking of time and patience, Hansen also mentions WriteTree as a more affordable option that still relies heavily on prompts. Oh, and it has a built-in plagiarism checker. I feel like that's a huge bonus for anyone using AI writing tools, especially in a professional setting.
Oh, absolutely. Plagiarism is a big deal. Having that feature built in just gives you that extra peace of mind, and it saves you from having to run your work through another tool, which is always a plus.
Then there's Sonic Hansen seems to think it's a jack of all trades, master of none kind of thing.
Yeah.
Although he did mention something about it taking like 18 clicks to create an article,
Yeah.
which doesn't exactly sound efficient.
Yeah, and as anyone who writes regularly can tell you, time is precious.
Yeah.
So it's super important to think about not just the features of the tool, but how well it fits into your workflow. If you've got this tool that can do everything, but it takes you hours just to figure out how to use it, it's not really helping anyone.
And this is where things get really interesting. Hansen talks about Surface SEO. Get this, it's actually the tool that inspired him to create Penfriend because it wasn't cutting it for him.
It's amazing how quickly this whole field is changing. What works today might be completely obsolete tomorrow. And sometimes the best ideas come from seeing where other solutions fall short.
He also briefly mentions tools that are designed for more specific tasks, like WordTune. That's for rephrasing. And then there's Grammarly, which I think most people are familiar with at this point, for cleaning up grammar and clarity. And the Hemingway editor, which helps you write more concisely. I think it's a good reminder that AI can be helpful at different stages of the writing process, not just for that initial draft.
Absolutely. It's all about putting together a set of tools that works for you, understanding that different tools are good at different things.
So with all these different options out there, how does Hansen suggest we go about choosing the right one for our needs? He actually breaks it down into 3 main questions.
He says to think about who's going to be using the tool, how often they'll be using it, and most importantly, what do they actually need it to do?
It sounds so obvious when you put it like that. But I bet you those three questions could save people a ton of time and frustration.
Oh, for sure. It really is. Like, whenever you're trying something new, it always helps to go in with a clear goal in mind.
Right, like, don't go grocery shopping when you're starving.
Exactly. And, just like you wouldn't want to blow your budget at the grocery store. Got to think about the cost of these AI writing tools, too. Some of them can get pretty pricey. So factor that into the equation, along with, how much time and energy you're willing to put into learning the ropes.
Yeah, that's a really good point. It's easy to get caught up in all the fancy features,
Yeah.
but if it's going to break the bank, or you need a computer science degree to figure it out,
Yeah.
it's not going to be very useful in the long run.
Exactly. The best tool is one that makes your life easier, not more complicated.
So, as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of AI writing assistants, I want to leave you with this thought. Even with all the amazing advancements in AI, at the end of the day, writing is still about communication, regardless of the tools we use. How can we as writers become even better communicators? What skills can we work on to make our writing sharper, clearer, more engaging, whether we're using AI or not?
That's a great question to think about. And it's something that goes way beyond just mastering a specific tool or technology. The future of writing is full of possibilities, and by embracing both our humanity and the power of technology, we can all work towards communicating more effectively and making our voices heard.
That's a great note to end on. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us. Until next time, keep exploring and happy writing.